The greatest moment at Tiger Stadium took place on October 7, 1935. Going into the 1935 World Series, the Detroit Tigers were one of four Major League teams yet to win a title since the Fall Classic began in 1903. Since owner Frank Navin took over the team in 1905, the Tigers had previously won 4 American League pennants and had many memorable players and teams, but a world championship had always eluded them. Their opponent this time was the Chicago Cubs, who had beaten them twice. Chicago would continue to give Detroit fits in Game 1 by defeating them 3-0 on a complete game by Lon Warneke, and even though the Tigers would win Game 2, they were dealt a big blow in the 7th inning when their star first baseman Hank Greenberg injured his wrist on a home plate collision, sidelining him for the remainder of the series. This, however, would not discourage the Tigers. Led by the hitting of Goose Goslin and Pete Fox, they would win the next 2 games in Chicago to take a 3-1 lead. They would have to win the title at home, however, as the Cubs would take Game 5 on another pitching gem by Warneke. Game 6 would be a seesaw battle and would go into the bottom of the 8th with the score tied at 3. Pete Fox would lead off with a single, and after a sacrifice at second, Billy Rogel would come to the plate with a chance to give Detroit the lead, but would strike out. After an intentional walk to Marv Owen, pitcher Tommy Bridges came to the plate but would strike out 2 to end the inning. In the top of the 9th, it was the Cubs' turn. Bridges would get into trouble early by giving up a leadoff triple to Stan Hack, and it looked very likely that the Cubs were going to force a Game 7. The next hitter was Billy Georges. Bridges would get to 2 strikes on him, and with the crowd anticipating the out, Georges would fan. Then came up Larry French, who Bridges would retire on a ground ball, and at what one point looked to be a sure rally was now in jeopardy. Bridges would then retire Augie Galan on a fly ball, giving Detroit a chance to win it in the bottom half. Manager Mickey Cochran would later call Bridges' performance 150 pounds of courage, and if there ever is a payoff on courage, this little 150-pound pitcher is the greatest World Series hero. When the bottom of the inning started, Goose Goslin had a premonition. He was due up 4th and said to teammate Eldon Auker that he had a feeling he'd come to the plate with the winning run on, and if he did, the Tigers would be the world's champions. With 1 out, Mickey Cochran came to the plate and singled, and with the winning run now on base, Charlie Gehringer came up and grounded out to put Cochran in scoring position, sending up Goslin. Now, with an opportunity to fulfill his prediction, and with the crowd anticipating a base hit, Goslin would make his place in baseball lore when he hit a single to right to drive in Cochran with the winning run, giving the Tigers their long-awaited first World Championship as the crowd of 48,420 went into a frenzy. Not only was the championship rewarding for the city of Detroit, it was also rewarding for Frank Navin, who would pass away later in the year. The Detroit Tigers to this day remain as one of baseball's most storied franchises, and since winning their first title in 1935, they've had 12 Hall of Fame inductees, have won 5 more American League pennants, and 3 more world titles.